Namaste to all beings. Beautiful day on earth today. I hope you get a chance to enjoy your day. My name is Aga and this is my YouTube channel, Tree of Life Spiritual Coaching. I am very excited to share with you some new information that I have been discovering while meditating and journeying. Lots of exciting things that I want to share with you. I'm currently in Chicago. It's a gorgeous day. My prana is flowing through me at such velocity that it's hard to contain. So I hope you can feel some of that beautiful intensity coming from my heart to yours. I wanted to talk about things that I deal with in my practice all the time with my clients, people that I work with, people who are also on spiritual path. Oftentimes they feel stuck in this concept or circuit of matrix, and I see this constantly, around me, observing people. I am a very free being, and there is a process that I underwent in order to arrive at this stage. So let's talk about matrix today. Let's talk about some ways to get out of this matrix and become more free, become more sovereign, become more independent of everything that is happening around you. The idea is that you will have so much strength within you that everything that's going on will be quite relevant to the state of bliss and love that you will ignite within yourself. And from that state, it's very easy to share, find inspiration, find purpose. But first we need to talk about matrix, and I'm going to use some symbology to help you understand this concept. I get a lot of emails from people who are feeling that they are being pulled energetically towards different directions, and it's really hard for them to find their core and anchor in it. And a lot of it, of course, comes from our upbringing, conditioning of the past, experiences that we underwent, perhaps a trauma. It's been proven by science at this point that trauma unresolved affects our DNA, and the energy that hasn't been addressed in a very healing, integrative way will actually be passed to the next generation. In case of some animals, it actually takes 14 generations for the information to actually be released. So imagine a legion of your relatives behind you sitting, and you're carrying genetic memory of their traumas, their unresolved situations, and it's all within your system. And imagine combining this with what we see around the world that we live in, and the way we treat each other these days, the level of disconnect. It really can create quite a confusion for people. So I don't know how you feel about your life, but when I was growing up, I always knew that I want to be free and a happy person. And whatever I saw around was not at all aligned with this idea. And somehow I didn't believe that anything that they were saying was true. I actually remember conversations with my grandma. She was talking about things like her past, her decisions, and she would always tell me, I was born under this star and this is my destiny. I couldn't do anything about it. And I would always argue with her, not argue, but I would disagree, and I would say, I think you had other choices. You decided to go with this decision, but you had other options. And I was a teenager, maybe 12 years old, 13 years old, and I remember till this day that I did not really align with this idea of, this is all pre-decided, predetermined. I had this big passion for experiencing freedom, experiencing happiness. And here we are, fast forwarding several years later. I'm here sharing some information based on years of meditation, years of journeying, using sometimes, very rarely, herbs or plants, medicinal plants, but mainly just working with my subconscious. I journey very easily. Recently, I just had an acupuncture session and I had an incredible journey. I connected with some people that are no longer in my life, or they're in peripheries of my life, but I feel like we're experiencing a life on another dimension together, and they're popping into my reality. So being in a multidimensional world, it's very easy for me. In fact, this is what I find way more real than what I see around me. What I see around me, it's quite irrelevant to what I'm experiencing. But the reason why I want to talk about all these things is because first, the idea of matrix needs to be addressed. The way I see matrix, this Maya, this illusion, or this corrupt demiurge, like some say it, it's like in this series called Stranger Things. I don't know if you've watched it, but there is this world called Upside Down, except for the Upside Down is actually here. So if you haven't watched this series, I recommend it. The Upside Down, where everything is withdrawn, disconnected, the energy is being pulled out of our bodies, is happening right here around you. 95% of people on this planet are actually suffering from this. And why is this happening? There are different forces in the universe that created this Maya, this illusion of separation. And this illusion, works on a principle that at some point there will be a unity, but through millennia, this unity, the Savior, the higher beings, the good ETs, Christ, or any other form of God will come and provide a solution. This is very disempowering concept, and I'll touch upon this in a moment. And on the other side, we have all these bad guys, corporations, people who believe in dark magic, black magic, people who believe in Lucifer, Satan. So we're dealing with this duality in this Maya, in this corrupt demiurge world. And the whole concept of Matrix is making sure that you stay in polarity, in duality. And we use this type of concept all the time, light and dark. Which side are you on? Good or bad? The examples are endless. And I wanted to actually introduce an idea that there is something way greater beyond that, beyond duality. And my whole purpose of my work with people is to empower them and bring them before the idea of duality was actually introduced. The concept of duality is actually to keep you in the matrix. So the people that work for the dark energies, they have their own rituals. There is idea of sacrifice. If you want to achieve certain power, you need to undergo certain rituals, and usually sacrifice is needed. So some people with a lot of power, they might be dealing with some diseases, or maybe they will lose relatives. I mean, it goes to many different degrees, right? But you get an idea. But also people who are working on the light side, or people who are devotional, devote themselves to service of light, it's also very disempowering, because you still are trusting some forces outside of yourself. You are giving your energy into service of others, and that's also draining. All these teachers, I don't want to discourage you from a self-inquiry and also reading about powerful teachers, but a lot of people who are doing any sorts of channeling or teaching these days, or even in the past, they always talk about, the Savior again coming and providing a solution. And this is very, again, disempowering, because it says, basically, it implies that we ourselves, we are not smart, capable enough to create that solution for ourselves. So in the dark aspect, the energy is drained. In the light aspect of duality, the energy is drained as well. So this is the false reality, the Maya. And even if you are one on side or the other, you still are being used by the matrix. You're still giving your energy one way or another. And like I mentioned, a lot of people come to me with this situation, and in my practice I do a lot of clearing for my clients. Clearing can be done in person and online. I'm going to teach you some techniques so you can clear your connections, across all timelines, all dimensions. You definitely want to make sure that you start connecting with your heart. This is your connection to the God particle, to the universe, to the bigger you, and you need to integrate your higher self within your grid of information. So I'll go over this in a moment, because I want you to have tools to work with yourself to slowly unplug from the matrix. The more energy you bring back to yourself, the more this potential energy. And if you work on self-inquiry, if you implement some things that I recommend, you will be beaming just like I am. And again, from this place of like this superhuman ecstasy and possibilities, you will have so much more ideas, how to live your life, how to be useful to others, how to be of service, how to enjoy your everyday, how to stop living in fear. I have no fear, absolutely, as far as going outside of my comfort zone, trying new things. Of course, I have some bodily limitations, and sometimes, I get stressed out as well. Like when I was in Asia and learning diving, it was very hard for me for a couple of days, but I connected with my higher self and love from the people that I know around me, and I was able to, pass through it. So challenge is great, and you will be able to step outside of the comfort zone. And also, when you learn how to face fear, you will be able to expand your peripheries of comfort. You will be able to expand the area of your experience in life, which is very, very good. We are beings of light that have incredible grid of information within our body. So that the more you work with yourself, the more you work on bringing back the power into yourself, the more of these pieces of the mind that are hiding will actually integrate back to you. What happens when we experience stress, usually in our childhood, maybe your abused child or a young woman, there's endless examples we can give. And what happens in these very stressful situations when we are disempowered as children, our mind splits. So visualize your mind like a piece of cake. And there is a stressful situation, and piece of cake is being removed from the whole. So some aspect of you, maybe an aspect of a mother, or an aspect of a teacher, or an aspect of a warrior, is being removed from this whole, and it goes back to the source and hides somewhere, because it doesn't feel safe in a situation like that. You as a person, because of the split, are experiencing trauma, because you cannot access those aspects of you that are there to help you live your life fully and be well equipped to face everything that's happening on earth. And also internally. As a result of that, trauma occurs. And when there is trauma, it's easier to get involved in this duality scheme of false light and dark, and this game that's being played on Earth, because we don't have the capacity to use our discernment correctly. Our well-being is compromised in many ways, and therefore, there's a lot of people later on in life that are very much lacking trust, that are very closed, that have trouble connecting, that have no idea who they are. And a lot of them end up with a person like me or with other therapists that is using holistic methods to help bring back those pieces of the person that are hiding, those aspects that are hiding, and integrate back safely to the person's psyche. So I work a lot of times with subconscious, and through sensations, through emotions, we sink into a memory, just so we can actually readjust the way that the person feels about the situation. We want to work to the point where the person feels that they neutralized the situation. They can come out of it sort of untouched. So we're creating circumstances where these pieces of the mind that are fractured can be integrated again safely, and you're able to use it later. Because this is part of your mechanism for your ascension, for your growth, and you need it. So you need all of those pieces. The same happens, with the energetic body. We have chakra systems, these aspects of us that are here, energetic aspects that are here for us to, grow. Each chakra is responsible for a different aspect of your life. So like your base chakra, your grounding, that's your basic feeling of safety, feeling safe on earth, feeling that you actually can walk on the street and feel happy and don't feel threatened. You have a roof over your head. Then you have your sensual chakra, sacral chakra, that's creativity, female creativity and sensuality. You have your solar plexus, that's your emotional connection with other people. Do you maintain healthy connections, or does your energy go into connections with people that cause discomfort? And why do we maintain these energetic connections? Here is our heart chakra. This is really like the center of the universe within us. This is, the place where we can pull all the information from within and from outside to be revealed in our own, machine that creates life, that creates experiences. So the more self-love, the more forgiveness, the more self-care, the more powerful this machine becomes. Then we have throat chakra. Throat chakra is ability to speak your truth and also set boundaries. So a lot of people have problems with saying no, and they're yes people, they're people pleasers. And one simple exercise I can give to you: visualize yourself in a room and energy filling up the room from you, creating sort of like an energetic space around. That is your space. How would you want to fill it up? What would you want to fill it up with? What do you need every day? Maybe you need love, loyalty, you need courage, whatever it is. This is the space. And then that's also the boundaries. So if somebody doesn't respect those things that you require, the love, the courage, whatever it is, then when you work with this chakra, you develop ability to say, this is really not with alignment with what I am, and I don't agree with this. So learning how to say no, right? That's another very important aspect of our growth. And here we have our third eye. That's the place where the activation to your multi-dimensional experience happens. So of course, it's very important to work on the lower chakras first before we get into activating our higher powers, our ability to connect with people telepathically, draw the information from the invisible to our eye sources, and actually interpret it. here, our crown, and this is the connection with the celestial bodies, with your higher self. When all these chakras are working together, you're an actualized being who is utilizing all those different tools within you, within your body, within your also energetic sphere, mental, emotional sphere, to have a beautiful experience on earth, regardless of what you see around, right? So then the crucial question comes, how do I unplug from the matrix? Now that you know that you are part of it, and like I said, I get a lot of emails from people who are feeling that they're being pulled different directions, that their energy is being drained, how to reclaim your space. I do something with every client during sessions that I can describe to you. And I do it daily for myself as well. So I recommend you do this at the end of your day before you go to bed. I would just lay down, do a little guided meditation. You can use the ones from my channel. You can find one, could be a few minutes, just so you can connect with your body, right? And then I say something like this. I connect my higher self with the source energy in the intention to clear all kinds of thought forms, energy forms, and entities across all timelines and all dimensions that do not have my highest, best interest in mind. So I'm clearing my field, my emotional, mental, physical, energetic field from all connections that are energetic, that are coming in thought forms, energy forms, entity forms, across all timelines and all dimensions, in order to clear myself completely from any of those contracts that are limiting my experience. I am releasing all of those energies from my system, and I'm sending it back to the source for recycling with love and respect. This way you can establish this new platform for experience that is not connected to the false light, to the dark. You're clearing first your space, and then you need to decide what you want to do with that space. So the second part I would recommend is to visualize your body as a grid. Imagine a grid like a web of connections. And you're laying down and your body turns into this grid. And above your head, I want you to visualize a star. The star, like Metatron star, this is your higher self. And imagine this light, visualize this light pouring into the grid. And the grid starts to glow. The light from the higher self, the information from the higher self, the bigger you, right? The spirit aspects that has the complete information. You are allowing this information, you're opening up for this information to actually sink into the grid. And then this grid starts to glow, starts to live. You might feel tingling, you might feel things shifting inside you. And next part is activating your connection to the grid of Earth. So visualize the Earth as well as a grid, a web of information, historical information from the past. This is all, carried by Mother Earth as well. So when you visualize her as a grid, connect with your feet, take a few breaths, connect that information from her grid into your system, exhale into your heart a few times. And open yourself up to receiving the information from this grid. And then we'll do the same with the celestial bodies. Visualize the grid that is above you, the Milky Way galaxy, all the planets, galaxies, star systems. And you're pouring that information from this grid into your own grid. and you always exhale into the heart. You do it a few times, and then after that you simultaneously begin to breathe through your feet, connecting to the grid of earth, exhaling into the heart, and through the crown. You want to bring this energy, information basically, from the grid of celestial bodies through your crown into your heart, exhale into your heart. So simultaneously you're creating that circuit of energy that is connecting you with the earth and the sky, basically connecting you to the true information beyond the duality that exists on earth. And the more space you reclaim, the more of this potential energy you will be able to generate within yourself. And this is where, the ecstasy comes. This is where this incredible experience in life comes from. Another part that I would also recommend, once you do this daily, this is a daily practice. Watch my videos on raising your vibrations and adding some superfoods into your diet to help you cleanse also physically, because we want to address this not just energetically, but also physically, to make sure that you remove layers from the body that are blocking the energetic activation. And also, if you are dealing with a trauma, or you're definitely feeling that you need some help in this process of getting in touch with the deeper you, work with someone. Find someone that will help you get to that place of clarity a little bit faster. I have lots of tools on my YouTube channel. How to do pranayama, breath work, cobra breath, Tuma meditation. These are very powerful techniques. Another thing I want to say before I finish today, it's very important that you start reducing versus adding. So we're talking about food, right? You remove all the chemicals from your body, you remove alcohol, you remove coffee. You want to add matcha tea, maca mukun. I have video about this drink. You want to add superfoods like chlorella spirina to help you detox. You want to remove any types of stimulants. I very rarely drink. Sometimes I'll have a little bit, but once you're going through this process, the more aware you are, the better. So I would not desensitize in any way. If you need help, again, you can reach out to me and I'll guide you through the process if it's hard for you to remove certain substances from your life. If you would like to see results faster, it's better if you start the process of purification as soon as possible. The same happens with the thought process, right? We need to make sure that we monitor quality of our thoughts. So start spending some time with your thoughts and write down, some things that keep popping. And if you caught yourself, having thoughts that are quite compromising to your well-being, find 5 affirmations that are the opposite to what you just communicated to yourself, and bring that information to your heart in order to neutralize the effect of the negative thought. So if you address all of these things on energetic, on a physical, on a mental level, you will start oiling this inner machine that is your tool for interdimensional travel, for self-growth, for freedom, which is my gift to you today. I want you to experience that freedom, and I want to share this information with you because I am a living example of this type of state. I live freely, and it's the most amazing gift that I could give to myself and also share with others. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if you would like further explanation, please leave the comment below. If you would like to reach me, my website is balanceisperfection.com, and you're welcome to connect with me via my website, and we can further discuss this topic, which is a very exciting topic because there are solutions, but you need to reclaim your space and take control over your inner environment. This way, when we all change and vibrationally raise, we will be able to set ourselves free completely from this duality play, this game that's happening on earth, and that is a real freedom, which I wish you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for watching. I see you next time at the next episode of Tree of Life Spiritual Coaching. Namaste.